In this section, we're going to be talking about some of the more advanced object snaps, specifically center object snap, intersection object snap, perpendicular snap, tangent snap, quadrant snap, and knot object snap. Now, a lot of these are fairly limited use. You may not find yourself having a need for them very often, but we're going to go over them quickly just so that you're familiar. The first one here is intersection object snap. You might already be able to guess what that does. Basically, if I have two lines, or a line and an object, for example, that intersect, when I turn this on, if I'm going to create a third object or line, my cursor will snap automatically to the single point that joins these two lines, the exact intersection. If I've moved my sphere over here, now that I have a sphere, I can turn on my center point snap, which, as you can see, isn't wanting to pick up on my lines, but on my sphere. You get a better angle at this in the perspective window. You can see it'll snap automatically to the center of the sphere. So there I've placed a point there in the exact center using my center object snap. Perpendicular object snap is kind of interesting. What that does is allows me to create, for example, if I create a line, it will only snap to a point that is exactly perpendicular. And on some curved shapes, it may be difficult to actually find someplace. For a guarantee, let's create two straight lines. For that, I'll turn on my regular snap. So I'm snapping along my grid here. And now, my little perp flag has come on, and that shows me that I can create an intersection here that's exactly... Mistake, let me back up a second. My perp flag appears here, which shows me that these two are exactly perpendicular and that this is the point where they join. And a curved line. What about tangent object snap? Well, that's a little more complicated. It's going to look for a point that's actually tangent to my other points. Sometimes that can be a little strange. For example, we found one here, or here. So these two curves are now tangent to each other. Now, quadrant object snap is actually more of a 3D type of snap. Let me delete some of this mess. Actually, I'll delete my sphere as well, and we'll start out with a brand new sphere. Just like that. Now my quad snap is different. Let me use my perspective window here so we can kind of see what's happening. Here's a quadrant. Now if I place a point there so we can actually see it, this will show you where it happened. At the intersection of the bottom of the sphere. I can do the same at the top. And there as well on the sides. So when I rotate in 3D, you can kind of see where these are, marking the quadrants of my sphere. What about knot snap? Well, I'll turn that on. We'll pick on our sphere tool again here. A knot can be found there, and there, and there. This is telling me there's 3 knots basically in this curve, and it can snap to the knots exactly. If I were to turn on my edit points, you're seeing more points than just 3, certainly. And the same with control points. However, if we were to use our tool here, remove knot, now the knots themselves are visible, and as you can see, there's just 3. I've snapped a sphere to 2 of them using my knot object snap.